Hello everyone, this is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories. So sign up and be our next guest. And hi and welcome to Steve Cope this morning. Steve, it's a pleasure to have you with me today. And I guess my financial side is coming out of me eventually. And I am talking all about finance and money and important things because I think going through life, people don't always plan to have a succession. We just wing it. We do what we need to do every day to get by. Let me hand over to Steve today, who's going to talk about all the amazing things he's done in his life and has been around, obviously, money, or should I say finance, because that's so much better. Over to you, Steve.
Krista, thank you for that nice introduction there. Finance. I left university at 21. I'm now 61, and I've had 40 years in finance. I know you can't believe those dates, but they are absolutely true. At the moment, or rather last year, I closed my mortgage business. I've been a mortgage broker for 20 years in my own company. I now closed it. I'm now a financial planner. And you're thinking, what on earth does a financial planner do? Well, think of it this way. A lot of people have personal trainers, okay? Personal trainers look after you, your body, your nutrition. Now, I'm the same, but in the finance world. So I look at you, at your
Okay.
finances, your budgeting, your mortgage, your life insurance, your pension, your inheritance tax, everything, absolutely everything. I don't do any of it myself. What I do is to show you what to do, how to do it, what you can do for yourself, and more importantly, if you need specific advice, I have a list of people, a referral bank of IFAs, solicitors, accountants, you name it. So I can then refer you to the experts if I feel that you need some specific advice or help to make you more financially with it. I mean, I've been doing this for 40 years in finance, and the number of times I hear the word planning. Everyone needs to plan. I think you used that phrase yourself, planning. 80% of people don't have a plan. They don't only wing it, they stick their head in the sand. Because one day it's going to be okay. And you know what? One day it may not be okay. So all you have to do is start as young as possible, have a plan, have somebody like me on board to help you and show you what to do. And it doesn't cost you anything to do the right things, which is great. So I help people plan properly for the future and get them the best deals that are around on the market and the best people to help them out. In a nutshell,
But
that's what I do.
so what if I've left it to the last minute? I actually don't have a plan. I've never had a plan and I am going to wing it. And I come to you. What are you going to say to me? You're
I'm
too
gonna,
old. You've done it.
I would never, Krista, dream of saying that you're too old to start with. Okay. And the first thing I'd do is to say, can I please have 3 months bank statements? And hopefully you will be happy to supply those. Having been through your bank statements, you would be amazed what a financial planner or anybody in finance can work out about you and your life. You've made a phrase and a comment there about, I'm too old, it's too late. It is never too late to do something. The longer you leave it, the more expensive it's going to be and the more challenging it's going to be. It is never too late to start doing the right things. Even if you're in your 60s and you've done nothing, you can start by doing a £20,000 ISA allowance, for example, each year. Or if you have a mortgage, you can look around for a better deal. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you have something there and a few pounds in the bank, you can everyone can do something a little more efficiently and be a bit more proactive and save some money and help themselves. It doesn't matter about your age.
So help yourself. I need to plan for my retirement. So how can I help myself to make sure that I've got the right plans in place? I've been working all my life, or I'm starting to work. What would be your best advice to somebody that's, I need some money put aside for my retirement because I know I have children and they're going, what retirement? Why should I put money aside? I want to spend it all. Why would I do that? How do you get to reach those people that really need the help right now?
Well, a lot of the people I get to see are people who are referred to me by people who were in that exact position a year or 2 years or 3 years ago to say, look, I saw this guy, Steve, I'm one of his associates or whatever, and do you know what? It's changed things, and I feel so much better, and it's going to cost you nothing for a chat. And at the end of the day, I'm that much better off. So, what do you have to lose by having a discussion? But without, how do you put it, annoying too many of the IFAs that may be watching this. You don't always need an IFA to do your pension for you. You can set up your own pension. You can enhance the pension that you're with at work. A lot of IFAs put money in what we call managed funds. Now, managed funds, to cut out the jargon, are ones which are actively managed, and they cost a bit more money than, say, the basic. You might have heard of a tracker, which is a form of investment which just follows like the FT 100 index. Those funds are about a third of the cost of some of the more active ones that are out there. So you can set one of those up yourself, and it's a lot cheaper than paying someone else to do it. For specialist advice, you always use an IFA. But for the basic things in life, you know what? You can do it yourself. You don't need to pay fees to somebody to do it for you. And that's where I come in to say, look, you need help on this, but this bit, you know what? You can do it yourself, Krista. It's not rocket science. You're just doing some basic things and going and logging on to a site and doing it yourself. It is dead simple, seriously, and will save you a lot of money.
So, Steve, I want to put some money aside every month as my salary comes in. What is the best advice you could give to somebody that's saying, look, I need to put some money aside and I want to save it. I don't want to touch it. I just want to save it each month because I can afford 50, 60 pounds a month. What do you say to someone that's trying to do that?
Okay, without giving specific advice, which I do not do, but there are two key things that spring to mind. Okay, you can set up an ISA. An ISA is an account you have with a bank or a building society or an insurance company. You set it up, you put it in there, and anything you get is tax free. Simple. You can just do it online, walk into a branch. It's dead easy. Okay, simple to do that. The other thing you can do is to say go online, and there are several what we call platforms out there run by big companies, Interactive Investor, AJ Bell, for example. You can log on there, click a button which says Start My Pension, and you can go on there, follow the little icons, and you can do it in 5-10 minutes. It's not a problem. So you can do that kind of thing yourself, and it's relatively cheap. So yeah, that's the way that you can do it if you want to do it straight away.
Excellent. So, in terms of do you have a story for us that, of something that's gone really well? That would be a nice one.
Yeah, okay. I Before I closed my mortgage business, I was what's called an independent whole of market broker, which means I could do anything on houses, on buy-to-lets, and on equity release. And before I ran the business up, I was approached by a lady who wanted an equity release mortgage. She was in her 60s. She had a lovely property up north. We'll leave it at that. It was worth about 1.5 million quid. She had a mortgage on it. She didn't have much income coming in. She had to do some repairs to a property that were about 150K's worth. She'd been to another advisor, and I don't know what he or she had done, but the word "and make a mess of it" sort of springs to mind. And she came to me, and we had a lot of Zoom calls, and she even walked me around her farm, small holding, and introduced me to her sheep and a couple of goats and her hens, and it was all absolutely lovely. And yeah, it was a challenge, but I managed to get this woman £150,000 on an equity release, which cost her very little at the end of the day, no repayments on it. She's got her house now fully refurbished, and it's beautiful. I've been to see it, and it was just nice. And this is one of the rewarding things about the mortgage brokering side of my business. It's all about emotion, and you can make people so happy. Us Brits are really should we say, a bit too attached to our properties. It's so emotional. We love our houses. And when you can help somebody fulfill their dream, getting their house done up or helping them buy a property, you know what? The relief is just, and the thanks. It's just wonderful. You know, the expressions and the thanks and the gratitude make the job really worthwhile. And it's great. So having met Daisy the duck and the other hens and sheep and things, it was just nice. And she was so grateful. And it was just a lovely, lovely story to help her out.
That that's a lovely story to tell. I mean, that's a way, as a practical way, that you help somebody with your knowledge and the
Mhm.
ability to be able to do that. And I think there's a lot of people up around the world, but very much so in within the UK for sure, that they actually the anecdote that your house is your castle, you're the king of the castle, really really does fit,
It does.
because the rest of the world are busy renting, and then they're like, oh, got to retire. Well, how much money have we got? What can we afford to buy? They
Not a
do
lot.
it the other way around completely. So
Yeah,
I've
correct.
seen both sides of the coin, and I'm like, okay, there might be a good thing in that or a bad thing, but quite honestly, you're absolutely right. People are attached to their properties and their lifestyles and what have you. So, what's a quick takeaway you can give us? A nugget that will inspire us this week.
Okay. When it comes to anything, whether you go on a training course or listen to a podcast, if anybody gives you some advice, act on it within 48 hours. Because if you don't, you're never going to do it. So the first thing is to sit down and say, what are my financial goals? When do I want to retire? And how much do I want to retire on? And then, secondly, if you have a mortgage, look at what you're paying on the thing immediately, because right now rates are going up. You need to save what you can, lock into a fixed rate deal. So those are the two things that I would say. If you do nothing else today, just spend 5 minutes or even 2 minutes just thinking about it, because the head in the sand or I've done nothing syndrome is just not going to make you a happy person when you want to pack everything in. It's not going to work.
I want to thank you for that, Steve, and have an amazing day. And yeah, thank you for coming on to our podcast today. Thanks.
Krista, thank you very
Bye.
much. It's been great. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments, and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter, and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life, and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories, and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories, so sign up and be our next guest.